We're here at Life Science Innovation Northwest 2014 with Dr. Jim Olson, who's affiliated with the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center, Seattle Children's Hospital, and the University of Washington. And my first question is, with all of those affiliations, Dr. Olson, can you explain what you do at each of those institutions?
Sure. My laboratory program is based at the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center. It's there that we work on discovering new drugs that will help patients with brain cancer and other types of cancer, and really innovation that will change the pharmaceutical industry. At Seattle Children's, I take care of kids, primarily with brain tumors. They serve as the source of motivation for everything we do. Every experiment is designed with them in mind and with patients in the future in mind, so that they don't have to go through what the current cancer patients have to go through. And at UW, I have many great collaborations with people in the pharmacology department and neurobiology. It's just a great group of folks that have become my academic team outside the Hutch and the University and the Children's Hospital.
So you're a researcher, you're a clinician, you're an entrepreneur. So of all those things, what's the single most contributing factor to your success, do you think?
I would say the single most contributing factor has been inserting myself into the environment at the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center. When I was first interviewing for positions around the world, I really looked carefully at all the best places that I could go and had some offers that were stunning, even by comparison. But I really felt that this was the place where I could do my life's work like no other. And the innovative environment there, coupled with the motivation that I get from taking care of kids over at Children's, has just come together to allow us to do things that I don't think anybody else in the world can do.
Okay. So we're very excited because today you'll be doing a fireside chat during lunch with Sue Siegel, who's the CEO of GE's Healthy Imagination Fund. How do you know Sue?
I met Sue through Thane Kreiner. Thane was the founder with me of Presage Biosciences, and he was the senior vice president at Affymetrix when Sue was the president at Affymetrix. So I've come to know her in all three of her most recent roles: as president of Affymetrix, as a partner at MDV Ventures, and now at GE Healthy Imagination. And more importantly than all that is that each time I've had a personal conversation with Sue, I've learned something that I've been able to take with me through the rest of my life. It's just incredible, the wisdom that she has.
Well, we're really looking forward to that today. So I don't want to steal any thunder from that. So you talked about innovation,
yes,
and technology and research. Can you give some examples of where you've seen innovation and new technology directly impacting patients? And then follow-up question is then, why do we need to support early stage innovation that often seems so far away from the clinic?
Yeah, that's a really important point, particularly right now. In the pharmaceutical industry, the vast majority of the budgets are being directed toward late-stage products. And those late-stage products are hampered by early-stage decisions. So if we don't improve our early-stage decisions, our early-stage technology, our ability to make better decisions early on, we're going to continue to have so many late-stage failures. So there's an important role for not only the academic institutions, but early biotechnology companies in really overcoming a lot of the decade-old thinking that pervades a lot of the industry. Some examples of how technology has directly influenced patient care. I think that we're starting to see the beginnings of the genomic results. There was incredibly high expectations. There was this period, it's like the graph of everything in life. The expectations were super high. We came down, and now we're coming up to learn what it can really do for us. And I think that in some cases, there are patients who are alive today because we know what mutation they have driving their cancer that wouldn't have been alive in the past. Now, having said that, I don't think that genomic medicine is the panacea for curing cancer. I think that we're going to, across the board, get a relatively small edge from that, and that there's still a lot of room for other innovative thinking beyond simply knowing what mutations are present.
So moving on from the early stage to company formation. So you're a co-founder of both Presage Biosciences and Blaze Biosciences.
Right.
So first, what's your role currently within each of those companies? And if you want to give us an update, that would be great.
Sure. I'm, as you said, I'm founder of both of those companies. I founded Presage with Thane Kreiner. I founded Blaze with Heather Franklin, previously at Zymogenetics, and both of those companies have matured beautifully in the past few years. We're in clinical trials with both companies, and that's in record-breaking time in one case. In Blaze's case, the technology was licensed out of the Fred Hutchinson Center in November of 2011, and we had our first clinical trial open 2 years later in 2013. So I think the combination of innovation, incredibly strong teams, and again, the motivation coming from patients has really driven both of those companies to excel. In terms of a brief update,
and we know Blaze is presenting, so we don't want to give too much away, I think.
All right. The bottom line is that my team at the Hutchinson Center invented a molecule called tumor paint that causes cancer cells to glow so that surgeons can see the cancer mass and detect small masses of cancer that are difficult or impossible to detect using current surgical techniques. And we've published the first paper on that in 2007. Since then, there's been a flurry of activity in the field. The National Cancer Institute has set up whole programs around it. There are probably 30, 40 companies that have tried to start or have concepts of getting started. I think what distinguishes Blaze is that Heather Franklin is perhaps among the best in the world in terms of execution. And she has product on her mind from the morning she wakes up to the moment she goes to bed. And unlike a lot of these other efforts that are more like academic exercises to get a good paper or to get a good proof of concept, she's just barreling forward with her team in an expert way to make this a reality for patients. At Presage, we had a technology that enables us to compare more than one drug in the same tumor, whether it's in the patient or whether it's in a research animal. We can basically inject an array of different drugs or drug combinations right into the tumor while it's in the patient and learn which drugs work and which drugs don't work. And we can prioritize, for example, which combinations might be best for that patient or for that group of patients. And currently we're working with major pharmaceutical companies to help them optimize their pipeline as they go into late-stage clinical trials.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for the update. Last question I wanted to ask, you've got another project that is directly related to one of your special patients, and it's called Project Violet. And if you could tell us a little bit about Violet and the project and maybe the power of social media and how this has helped catalyze this program.
Sure. Violet was a beautiful little girl who I took care of a few years ago who had a brainstem glioma. It's a type of cancer that in the 23 years that I've been caring for children with brain cancer, I've never had a single child survive, and that's the case for most of my colleagues across the country. It's a devastating disease. Violet knew from the first days that she was diagnosed that this was going to take her life, and even in that beautiful early stage of life, she was wise enough to know that she didn't want kids in the future to have to go through the same thing. And knowing that this was not a surgically removable tumor, she also knew that there were no research tools available to work on. So she asked if, when she died, we could take her tumor and make research tools and share them with scientists all over the world so that other kids wouldn't have to go through this in the future. In her honor, we began Project Violet to fund an innovative new program that we have at the Hutchinson Center called Optides, which is a whole new platform of drugs that we can talk about some other time that will be, I think, very useful for people with brain diseases and cancer and other neurologic diseases. And rather than spinning this out into a third biotech company, we decided to crowdfund or citizen science source this whole program so that the public would have a seat at the table, so that the public would be the investors in this program, and so that we could keep these libraries of drug candidates at the Hutchinson Center to share with different pharmaceutical companies and biotech companies for decades, rather than selling it to a single company and having it in the hands of one group of decision makers. It's been enormously successful. We launched Project Violet in June of last year, and in the subsequent 12 months between Project Violet and the related fundraising efforts at Fred Hutch and Seattle Children's, we've raised approximately $5 million. And
congratulations.
That's been largely in chunks of $100 at a time, $20 at a time. And because of that, we've made unbelievable progress in building these libraries of new drug candidates that we'll be able to share with scientists all over the world.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And of course, we thank Violet for that resource and tool, and it's amazing.
Yes.
I want to thank you very much for taking the time today, and thank you for your participation in Life Science Innovation Northwest
My pleasure.
2014. We look forward to your chat today with Sue Siegel, and best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.